I see you. Concentrate real hard. Be a 12-year-old. Pie fight. Ugh.
It's not a pie fight.
Think it through. What's your mother got a job for?
Just in case.
In case what?
I don't
In case
know.
you fail. In case it don't work out. Yes, man. She's filling your head full of fear. I pump you full of strength. Because we're on a team, and I know you got what it takes. You're a fucking star, and I know it. That's why I'm here. I'm your cheerleader, honey boy.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel over here at Broke Boy Media, and today I'm going to be doing a non-spoiler review of Honey Boy that officially releases on Amazon Video on November 8th later this year. And before we begin today's review, you can find this review here on YouTube, listen to it on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. So we got a few new platforms in there for all you guys, but let's just dive right on in, shall we? So Honey Boy was the film that I didn't know that I needed this year. I had no clue what this movie was about until I saw it at the Nashville Film Festival. I knew I was excited for it after I saw the trailer, and the biggest thing that drew me to this movie was Shia LaBeouf, who just happens to be one of my favorite actors of all time, and especially after seeing Peanut Butter Falcon earlier this year, I was on board with this from day one. But Honey Boy is about a young actor who tries to reconcile with his father after surviving a turbulent childhood. This is from the screenplay of Shia LaBeouf, based on his own experiences. And this kind of deals with a young actor through his childhood and early adult years as he tries to reconcile with his father, who was also dealing with mental health. Fictionalizing his ascent to stardom, the subsequent crash landing into rehab and recovery, LaBeouf takes on a therapeutic and very playing a version of his own father. Honestly, he was a ex-rodeo clown and felon. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I know that synopsis is a bit detailed, but it pretty much sets the tone for the film. So there are a lot of things I did like about this movie, but there are a few things I wasn't super crazy about. So let's just start with the negatives and then let's move on to the positives. So there's only a few negatives for me. The number one con that I had is that I wish the movie was longer. The film had me sucked in from start to finish, and I wish we would have gotten more of a backstory of a lot of the characters, such as Shia's character, who played an abusive father, to Otis, who was played by Noah Jupe. So in my opinion, the film was a bit too short. I think it was around like an hour 30, I want to say, and I wanted more. I wanted to dive into this dysfunctional family, and I wanted to find out how they ended up in the situation that they're in currently. My second issue with the movie was the pacing. I find that majority of the time it was fine, but the flow of the story was a bit off at times, which happens in movies nowadays. And my last issue was the ending, which was very touching, but like most movies this year, they started off very strong and they didn't know where to land once they got towards the end of the film. I was reading through visualprophet.com's review of this film, and he states that Honey Boy is not a perfect film by any means. The father/son dynamic can feel formulaic, and that the ending is abrupt and it really does come out of nowhere, which is something I completely agree with myself. Now, don't get me wrong, the pros do outweigh the cons 10 times over. As I've mentioned before, this film is about a young actor trying to reconcile with his father. And Otis, who was the son, in my opinion, was probably my favorite character of the entire movie. The movie goes back and forth with present and previous flashbacks of Otis's life as a young child actor living under the borderline poverty household of his abusive father. Noah Jupe and Shia LaBeouf have really, really good chemistry. Probably the best I've seen in a long time. The multiple attempts that Otis tries to receive love from his deadbeat father that he never had was truly a remarkable thing to see on the silver screen. And there are a lot of amazing things to say about this movie. I could talk about it all day, but this is a spoiler-free review, and I don't want to get too much into it, before I accidentally get ahead of myself here. But I'll just give my final conclusions really quick. Honey Boy is a must-see film of this year, and I encourage anyone to go watch it, especially if you're a big Shia LaBeouf fan like myself. Excuse me. It gives you more of an insight of Shia's past and the trials and tribulations he had to endure when he was a child actor. So I'm just going to give my score right now. I'm going to give Honey Boy a solid 85 out of 100. But those are just one man's thoughts and opinions about the movie. So if you have seen this movie at a film festival, what did you think? Leave your comments and questions and concerns down below on YouTube. And that I think that about wraps it up. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at BrokeBoyMedia. That's Broke_Boy, spelled BOI_media. And again, you can find this review here on YouTube. Listen to it on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher as well. And I think that about wraps it up. So I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it was sort of like I didn't have a whole lot to lose,
Why do you say that?
Well, I was in a, wild spot in my life. Yeah. And I think it informed everything that went down. Speaking back to like what Lucas said, and ownership and things like that, and not asking for permission. You ask for permission when you have something to protect. Right. And so I was in a spot where I didn't have much to protect, and I think it informed the performance.